Monk mode is not going to make you rich. Monk mode is not going to make you 10k a month. It's not going to help you retire your parents. It's not going to help you build a successful business. If you're going in monk mode to try get rich, try make money, then you're not going to do it. You won't succeed, or it's very, very unlikely that you will succeed. I know it's very against mainstream advice, and everyone else will tell you go monk mode, and obviously living the lifestyle of being in monk mode and constantly being disciplined, it's good. But actually going monk mode and doing 16-hour work days, it's not good for you. You're not going to make money. And I'm here to explain why. I'm not just going to give you the information and make you believe it. I'm actually going to shift your belief with it. I'm going to tell you why monk mode does not work and why it's not smart to go into it. First things first, I want you to understand this. Everything in our life strives for equilibrium. Equilibrium being an average point, being the 50% mark. And it's best told on this graph. This line here is equilibrium. Obviously it's not perfectly straight. You can't really see that, which is a slight worry. Let me turn this down. That's not much better. Okay. I know I've got a big bulb in front of me. You just have to deal with it. Makes the lighting better. Well, I thought it did, but apparently not. Hopefully you can see that. This line going through the middle, that is equilibrium, and this is every single thing in your life, in nature, in everything. The tides, they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Money in your bank account, say down here, this could be 500. That's when you can't even see that, for God's sake. That was meant to say 500, it does say 500, obviously you can't see it. When you get to £500, that's when you start saving much more, you stop spending, you start working harder. So you can get back up towards equilibrium, which could be £5,000, and then up here, say that's when you got £10,000 in your bank account. That's when you don't really care about money, that's when your ability to save goes out the window and just start spending it until you get back down to 500 when you're like, okay, I need to start saving again. Goes up and down, and the equilibrium is the average point. I hope that makes sense. It literally happens with every single thing in your life. Any of your behaviours, it will happen. It's called homeostasis. Your body does it. Your internal temperature does it. If you get too cold, your body will start shivering so it can warm up, because obviously heat is just vibration. If you get too hot, your body will start sweating to try cool down to reach your body's average temperature. Pretty simple to understand. Everything in our life strives towards equilibrium, and when you go too far one way, so let's take your internal body temperature. I think it's like 36 degrees, that's the average. When you start going above that, when you get to 42 degrees, let's say, external force is being created, external energy has gone towards your body temperature and it's causing you to heat up. That 6 degrees Celsius, that's the external energy. And when so much external energy comes into your life, or comes into anything, balanced forces come back to bring it back to equilibrium, to bring it back to 36. So let's say this curve is your body temperature, this oscillating curve is your body temperature. You go too far up here, let's say this is when you hit 42, your energy drops. Well, no, not the energy drops, the balanced forces come in and the energy drops. Or if you go too low, say you get to 30, you can't see that, I'll do it here. Say you get too low, you go to 30 degrees Celsius. Balanced forces come in because excess energy has been created, excess potential, excess whatever you want to call it. It's mainly just energy, that's what I'm talking about. Get too low, balanced forces bring you back up. I hope you understand that, and I hope you're now thinking of ways that I'm right about this in your life, ways that your behaviour, it works like this. Because you can't deny it. It's also the cycle of life. This is when you feel on top of the world, you're confident, you're working hard, you're disciplined, you're making money, you're doing every single thing that you'd want to be doing, you're living your dream days. This is when you get in a rut. And you start getting angry at yourself. You get the drive back. You go all the way back up here. You're on top of the world, you're confident, you're making money, you're disciplined, your diet's well, you're on a positive energy, and you drop back down. I know that's happened to your life because it happens to everyone, and I can make a video on breaking that cycle, but I'll leave that for the future. I'm here to tell you why going into monk mode will not make you successful. And right now, you're probably like, what the fuck is this guy on about? But if you've watched this far, then you're already ahead of most people. Most people have clicked off by now. Whether that's because of my bad videos, not bad videos, sure. Either way, I hope you can understand this graph now. Everything in your life strives for equilibrium. So why does monk mode not work? Well, it's pretty simple. Say this is just your average day right now. You wake up, you do a couple of good habits, you do 3 hours of work on your business in the morning, you go to the gym, you have an alright diet, everything's just going swimmingly. This is your worst day. This is where you do no work, you wake up late, you probably bust a nut, you eat junk food, you hop back on video games, you've got an 8-hour screen time on TikTok. That's down here. And up here, this is monk mode. This is where you're doing 16-hour work days, you're going to the gym every day, you're training hard, you're doing every single disciplined habit, you're reading, you know what I mean, where you're just, monk mode is just a cycle of pure discipline. That's all I really need to say. When you're up here, that's monk mode. When you're up here, that's the bottom. When you're here, that's when you're just living an average day, you're doing alright stuff. What did I say happens here? Earlier on, what did I say? From here to here, excess energy is created. Excess potential, excess force, it's created. So what happens when you start going back down? The balance comes in. The balanced forces, they come into play and bring you back to equilibrium. And what does... Well, actually, in terms of monk mode, they don't bring you back to equilibrium. Because the excess potential created was so strong, they bring you right back down here. They bring you back to a rut. They bring you back to being undisciplined. You're ill. That's the main point. If you've ever had burnout or you've been in monk mode and after it you actually got ill, you were getting headaches, you felt like you actually couldn't do anything, you couldn't work, you couldn't be disciplined, your body was just so depleted because of you were burnt out or you've been in monk mode for so long. That is when the balanced forces came into play. Okay? When you got ill, when you start getting tired, when you physically couldn't work, when you were actually so drained, that's when the balanced forces came in. Do you understand that? I'm sure you do, because I've explained it extremely simple. But what does this mean? How does monk mode make sure you're not going to be successful? How are you not going to get rich? Well, success is 99% showing up every single day. At the start of your journey, when you first start your business, you need to show up every single day for the next 6 months of your life. Understood? You would agree? Success is mostly consistency. Let me sort my trim out. That's better. Looking better now. Hopefully there's some fucking girls watching. I'm a bit lonely. Either way. What was I on about? I've lost my flow. Okay, so. Success is consistency. Success is showing up every single day. Yeah, got that. Cool, good. And what does monk mode do? Monk mode is a 1 or 2 month period of your life where you're working every single day. You're obviously showing up every single day for 1 to 2 months of your life, you're on track to making money and becoming successful. But at month 1, you've created this much excess energy. Month 2, you've created this much. Month 3, you've created this much. And then you're at the top. There's so much excess energy that what comes into play? What have I spoken about this whole video? Every time there's excess energy coming into play, well, anytime excess energy is created, what comes into play? Balance. The balanced forces. So you got to month 3 on your monk mode and you're extremely tired, you're extremely burnt out, you're feeling ill, you actually can't bring yourself to work, you're extremely drained. That is the balanced forces coming in. I've repeated my point, but I've added the consistency part into it. Because by 3 months into your monk mode, 3 months into starting a business, you probably won't have made much money yet. Might have got a few sales, but nothing significant. You can't drop out of school, you can't leave your job, you can't retire your parents yet. You've not really made much money. But now you can't work anymore. Your brain physically can't work anymore. I remember I was speaking to one of my mates, he's an 18-year-old on about 4k a month, and he said he got to the point of burnout. He was waking up at 3:30 in the morning, scripting a YouTube video, recording it, editing it, posting it, writing emails, writing modules for his course. Had about 20 tasks on his list each day. And he did that for about a month straight. That's pure discipline. That is just monk mode personified. He was working every single day, pure discipline. And after a month, he physically couldn't do it anymore. His mind wanted to work, but his body could not go sit on his desk. Anytime he went to go sit at his desk, he felt ill. He was in a state of complete burnout. And the balanced forces, they had come in and absolutely done him. I was going to say something else there, starting with an R, but I couldn't say it on YouTube. You can probably guess what it is. Balanced forces, they came in and absolutely just fucked him. And obviously he's still making money now, but he had about a month off of work. He was doing very minor work, but he had a month off of work, and he was already making money at that point. But if you're going into business straight into monk mode, you're going to get to month 3, you probably won't have made much money yet, and then you're not going to be able to work anymore. And if you have 2 or 3 weeks off, then what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get set back to step 1. Your business is pretty much going to fail. But you'd be thinking, oh, if I'm working so much, then my business is surely going to succeed. Yes, but with the fact that you can't work every single day. You've shown up for the past 3 months, but then for the next month you don't show up for a single day. You've broken the biggest law of success, which is consistency. And therefore you're not going to make it. So that kind of ends my point. I'll summarise it for you quickly. Monk mode. It brings you up. It creates excess energy. When excess energy is created, balanced forces come in. And that happens with every single thing in our life. Your internal body temperature, your bank account, your normal behaviours, the temperature in the air, the seas. Every single thing strives towards equilibrium. Which means balanced forces come into play when one thing is going wrong. Let me explain it to you like this. How does a tsunami form? Or what's the first sign of a tsunami? It's when the water, it comes back. It goes off of where it originally is and it pulls back. That's where excess energy is created. And then balanced forces come in, and because so much excess energy is created, tsunami comes. Yeah, you'd agree with that. You can't deny it. It's physics. That's another example. I'm sure you understand what I mean by that. So when you go into monk mode, excess energy is created and balanced forces come in and absolutely do you. And 99% of success is just showing up every single day over a long enough time period. And when you go into monk mode and when these balanced forces hit, you therefore can't show up every single day. You can't be consistent, and therefore your business will fail. Take it like this. TikTok or any social media platform, they all reward consistency. If you can be consistent on them for 6 months straight, you're bound to go viral. But if you're inconsistent with them, your chances of going viral, it drops drastically. Yeah, you'd agree? What happens when you stop posting because you're so burnt out that you can't create content because these balanced forces have come in and just smacked you? Your chances of going viral highly, highly decrease and get to the point where you'll probably restart your account because your views are now so low, you're getting so low engagement, you're not getting any followers. That's why monk mode would fuck you up. Or let's say you're doing client work. In monk mode, you're working for them, you're over-delivering, you're doing so much good work for them for about 2-3 months straight. Then the balanced forces come into play and completely fuck you up. You stop working for your clients, they get unhappy, they leave. You lose all your clients, you're back to square one with £0 or dollars in your bank account. See what I mean now? Are you starting to understand the actual negative impact of monk mode rather than the positive? I'm sure you are, because I've realised this now. So, I'm going to give you a quick solution, and that is to constantly live in your state of equilibrium. Okay, sometimes going a little bit above it is not going to hurt. You can just about outperform equilibrium. Like you can, let's say your average is 2 hours of work a day. Your equilibrium is 2 hours of work a day. You can move that up to 4, to just by not being a bitch and just realising that the more work you put in, the more you get out. But going into monk mode and just working way too hard in every endeavour of your life is exactly how you're going to fail. So just stay above this equilibrium for a long time, because the worst is going to happen. I'll redraw this. Let me get rid of this shot. So, this is what your life will look like on monk mode. It's highly oscillating. You can't properly see it that well. I'm going to have to sort that out in another video, but you just about get the gist. I tried to put this LED bulb in front. You'll be able to see it here. Put this LED bulb in front of me just to try and make the lighting better, and it kind of worked, but it's also getting dark outside, so everything's just not gone my way. Either way, this is what your life looks like on monk mode. There's big ups, there's big downs, there's big ups, there's big downs, because of the excess energy and balanced forces. But this is what your life will look like if you choose to just up the amount of work you do a bit. You go from 2 hours to 4 hours, or 4 hours to 5 hours, or 5 hours to 6. It'll look like that. You're creating a little bit of excess energy by doing a bit more work, but the balanced forces, they're going to come into play, and they'll be like, okay, nothing really bad's happened here. I guess we can just let him take a day off. You'll wake up one day and be like, you know what, I'm going to take a day off. I've been working hard the past 2 weeks. That's the balanced forces coming into play. That's just the universe bringing you back to equilibrium, and then you can start that 2-week cycle again. Very, very simple. So rethink all your actions, rethink all your decisions, realise what I'm actually saying. I got the balanced forces and the excess energy from a book called Reality Transurfing, which you might have heard of before. If you've not heard of it before, it's the best book I've ever read. And I say that like every single time I read. I have to read 10 pages at a time a day, just because there's so much information in there that you have to wrap your head around it. And normally with a book you can read it all in one day if you focused on it, and you'd be able to intake all the information. But Reality Transurfing, it is an insane book. Every single time I read it, it blows my mind. It's just, you need to read it. It was about £50 for me, but so worth it. Life-changing book. But either way, that's where I got the information for this video from. If you want to go read that yourself, then search it up. But yeah, hope you actually realise what I'm saying here and understand the importance of a bit of balance in your life. It's the law of balance. That's the whole concept in Reality Transurfing. But either way, if you want more videos like this, if you want things to improve your mindset, improve your life, make more informed decisions, and just become a more successful and more happier, literally every single trait that you want in life, if you want that, more of that, then subscribe to me. Continue watching my videos. I'm going to give you very, very good advice, so just make sure you subscribe. Nice and very simple. I'll see you in the next video, I guess.